According to Fannie Mae, 62% of people said they would buy a home if their lease ended this month, all while millionaires who rent where they live have tripled. And this all comes while millennials and Gen Zers want to buy a home but they can't afford it. And there are a variety of factors that go into what makes a house affordable. And this is a big deal as 10 million Americans plan on purchasing their home in the next 5 years. So what goes into the affordability of the housing market? And when will the best time to buy a home be? Affordability is more than you think than just home prices being at their lowest. Hi, my name is Austin and I have a degree in finance. I'm going to be explaining the best time to buy a home and also what factors go in to good affordability of a home. So the first factor of buying a home is liking the video. It all comes down to minimizing the size of your mortgage payment. Money.com says the typical mortgage payment is up 39% from a year ago. It's up by $644 a month. And this all happens while Wink News shows us how housing prices have outpaced wages. So the question really isn't when housing prices are going to be cheapest, but when is it going to be the most affordable to buy a house? Or basically, when are mortgage payments going to be at their absolute lowest? One of the biggest factors that goes into the price of the home is the supply. In the housing market, supply is calculated by a term called month supply. And it's pretty simple. Month supply refers to the number of months it would take to sell current inventory of homes. So the higher number of months means the more number of homes are on the market. According to Redfin, home supply rose by 12% in December. And the National Association of Realtors said we have a supply of 2.9 months, which is up from 1.7 months from December 2021, even though inventory is down 34% year over year. But according to Texas A&M, 6.5 months is considered a balanced market. And balanced market really means there's an equal number of buyers and sellers, which kind of keeps the price the same. It doesn't really change much. But they say when demand exceeds 7 months, then the demand is low. And this means that prices are likely to fall and buyers are in control of negotiations, while sellers are waiting to find a new buyer. But when the inventory is low, like it is right now, under 5 months, that means the sellers are in control, and that means that price is likely to go up. More sellers mean they can determine the price they want for their home, and buyers just kind of have to take what is given to them. So considering we're at a 3-month supply right now, but we're kind of headed towards 2008 supply crash levels, and buyers are starting to take back control, but this doesn't quite give us the full story. See, new construction homes are being added to the market every single day. And according to the Fed, the supply of homes for December is a 9-month supply, meaning if nothing is added to the market, it will take 9 months to sell all of the inventory. And this is really good news for people looking to buy a home. The high amount of new home supply will bring the total home supply up, which is going to give buyers more control in the market, which overall makes housing more affordable. According to Realtor.com, active listings are up 65.5% from January 2023 to January 2022, and homes are tending to stay on the market much longer. According to Redfin's monthly recap, homes stay on the market an average of 44 days, with Realtor.com saying they're seeing homes stay on the market for 75 days, which is up from 15 days in 2021. Active listings are up, but existing home sales have fallen for the 11th straight month, which are down 34% from a year prior. So it does seem like the supply of homes is down currently, but overall it looks like we're heading up, and which is a good direction if you're a prospective buyer in the market. So why would the volume be increasing but actual sales are decreasing? Well, that all leads us to interest rates. And these new high interest rates are hindering both buyers and sellers. So many homeowners are locked into their historically low mortgage rates, with the average outstanding 30-year fixed rate mortgage at 5.27%. And the current mortgage rate for a 30-year fixed mortgage is 6.6%. So honestly, it makes a lot of sense why homeowners want to keep their historically low interest rates instead of trading in for a mortgage with a much higher interest rate, especially when home prices are as high as where they're at right now. Fortune.com and Wall Street Journal saying homeowners wearing the golden handcuffs of low mortgage rates are reluctant to sell their homes now that rates are much higher. And this all comes while Freddie Mac expects interest rates to be around 6.4% in 2023. And Realtor.com and economists expect mortgage rates to remain between 6 and 7% in 2023. So what, mortgage rates are higher? Well, that totally goes into the affordability of owning a house. But it also affects home prices, which is good news for home prices, as home prices are finally flattening after many months of going up. According to the Federal Reserve, the median home prices have fallen for the first time since the pandemic. And this isn't much, but it's at least showing us that the momentum is finally slowing. According to USA Today, home prices hit the all-time high in 2022, with the median price increasing by 50% since January of 2020. But different areas had different impact, as some areas saw increases all the way up to 60% in markets like Austin and Phoenix. So this kind of shows us where the market is, but we want to know where the market is going. So I'm going to look at the top firms, see what they say, and then give you my opinion at the end of the video. Realtor.com chief economist Daniel Hale expects the 2023 annual median price to increase by 5.4%. And the president and CEO of RE/MAX, Nick Bailey, said, "I'm optimistic that the 2023 spring selling season will be a bright spot as levels of inflation get more under control." Chief economist Lauren Young from the National Association of Realtors says, home sales will decline by 6.8% compared to 2022, and the median home price will reach $385,000, an increase of just 0.3%. So they are pretty much predicting a neutral forecast due to a variety of factors like prices will be more regionalized, with the areas like coastal cities who saw huge growth in the pandemic declining up to 15%. But as other areas like the Midwest could even see prices increase. But it's important to note that they expect to end 2023 with a 5.7% interest rate for mortgages. Companies like Redfin and NerdWallet are paying close attention to what the Fed does. And a Goldman Sachs strategist said, "The sharpest declines in the U.S. housing market are now behind us." And then they go on to say, expect a peak through trough decline in national home prices of roughly 6% and for prices to stop declining around mid-year. So what do I think, and when is going to be the best time to buy a house? So I think it's important that we look at what the FOMC members, after all, they are part of the Federal Reserve and they make interest rates for the whole government. According to the projections, they are predicting interest rates to start declining as early as 2024. But when rates decline, housing prices typically start increasing. So I think that a most important part of affordability is going to be keeping an eye on what the Federal Reserve does, because they set the interest rates for the whole economy. This directly affects the housing market because it determines what rates people can get their mortgages for. It is predicted, like in this chart, a rate pivot will happen late 2023 as early as 2024. And I think this is going to be the most affordable time to buy a house. Goldman Sachs agrees with me that late 2023, with a combination of lowering housing prices and lowering mortgage rates, will make the homes most affordable. And keep in mind, most affordable means the cheapest mortgage payments, not necessarily the cheapest house. So if you have a really low interest rate, but your house costs a little bit more, it actually might be cheaper for you to buy it that way versus high mortgage rates and cheaper houses. But I do want to say it's important to know that timing the market isn't everything. US News says that if you plan on living in your house 5 to 7 years, then buying is a good option. Anything less would make a less optimal investment. Keep in mind, the housing market has consistently performed very, very well. So timing the absolute peaks and bottoms isn't the worst thing at the end of the day. If you don't get in for that perfect price, you could potentially refinance later, or we might be sitting at the best interest rates right now where you wouldn't want to refinance. And if you plan on living in your house 5+ years, then the chances of your house increasing in value, like in this chart, are very, very high. And at the end of the day, historically, owning a house has been one of the best ways to build wealth in America. So, like I said, I think the best time to buy a house will be the end of 2023, earliest 2024. But it's important to look at what the Federal Reserve says. If they're hawkish or bearish for the next couple meetings, then early 2024 might be the best time to buy a house. And if you thought this video was helpful, please give it a like. It really helps me a lot. And if you want similar content, subscribe to stay informed.